Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. The 7 readings of the Holy Quran. In order that the noble Quran becomes easily recitable, Allah Almighty has blessed the Muslim community with special convenience by allowing it to read the words of the Quran in more than one way. If there are situations when a person is unable to pronounce some words in one manner, he could recite it in another. It appears in a hadith of Sahih Muslim that the Holy Prophet ﷺ was once sitting by the pond of Banu Ghifar while Angel Jibrail came and said, Allah Almighty has commanded you to ask your community to recite the Quran following one method of reading. He said, I seek from Allah His pardon and forgiveness. My people do not have the ability to do so. Then Angel Jibrail returned to him and said, Allah Almighty has commanded you to let your people recite the Quran following 2 readings. He again replied, I seek pardon and forgiveness from Allah Almighty. My people do not have the ability to do even that. Then Jibrail came the 3rd time and said, Allah Almighty has commanded you to let your people recite the Quran following 3 readings. Again he replied, I seek pardon and forgiveness from Allah Almighty. My people do not have the ability to do even that. Then he came the 4th time and said, Allah Almighty has commanded you to let your people recite the Quran following 7 readings. So, whichever of these they follow to read the Quran, their recitation will be correct. Accordingly, there is yet another hadith where the Holy Prophet ﷺ has said, this Quran has been revealed covering 7 versions. So from out of these, recite in a way that is easy on you. Now what is meant by 7 versions in this saying of the Holy Prophet ﷺ? There are several scholarly positions in this connection, but according to scholars who have conducted painstaking and exhaustive research on the subject, the weightier meaning of these expressions is that the variations found in different readings of the Holy Quran are of 7 types. These types are as follow. Number 1. The difference in nouns. This includes the difference concerning singular, dual, plural, as well as masculine and feminine. For instance, in one reading, it is Tammat kalimatu rabbik, while in another, it is Tammat kalimatu rabbik. Number 2. The difference in verbs. That there be past in one reading, the present in another, and the imperative in yet another. For instance, it is Rabbana ba'id bayna asfarina in one reading, while Rabbana ba'id bayna asfarina in another. Number 3. The difference in the placement of diacritical marks. That which shows variance in Arab, which reflects variance in grammatical mode of a word and is demonstrated through desinential inflections such as kasra, fatha, dhamma. For instance, reading La yudharra katibun is La yudharru katibun. Number 4. The difference caused by addition and deletion of words. That there be some word missing in one reading, while it has been added on in another. For instance, the words Tajri min tahtihal anharu appear in one reading, while the words Tajri tahtahal anharu appear in another. Number 5. The difference of precedence and succession. That there is a word which precedes in one reading while it succeeds in another. For instance, وَجَاءَتْ سَكْرَةُ الْمَوْتِ بِالْحَقِّ and وَجَاءَتْ سَكْرَةُ الْحَقِّ بِالْمَوْتِ. Number 6. The difference caused by transposition. This happens when a word found in one reading is replaced by another word in another reading. For instance, Nunshizuha is Nanshuzuha, and Twalhin is Twal'in. Number 7. The difference caused by manners of reading. It includes variations in tafkhim, that is making the sound heavy, tarqiq, making a letter sound soft, imla, that is inclination, bending the sound of a short vowel, mad, prolongation, qasr, to shorten, hams, hamzatation, providing a letter with hamza, izhar, that is clear pronunciation, and idgham, assimilation. It means that by doing these, the actual word does not change, but the mode of its pronunciation does change. For instance, the word Musa is rendered as Musai in one of the readings. Anyhow, many readings were revealed incorporating these 7 types of different renderings. This difference between them really made no difference in meaning. The latitude so given was aimed at making recitation easy. In the beginning, people were not totally used to the style of the Quran. Therefore, many readings were permitted within the radius of these 7 types. But it was the blessed practice of the Holy Prophet ﷺ that he would go through the entire revealed Quran with Jibreel alayhi during the month of Ramadan every year. The year he left this mortal world, that was the year he did so twice. This door or meticulous rereading of the Quran is called Arzai Akhira, last review. On this occasion, many readings were abrogated. Only readings retained were the ones which continue to stay preserved to this day with uninterrupted succession. Sayyidina Usman anhu, during the period of his Khilafah, arranged to have 7 copies of the Noble Quran prepared in order to remove misgivings regarding the recitation of Quran. He incorporated all readings in these 7 copies by leaving the calligraphed verses of the Noble Quran without dots and desinences, the vowel points, so that the text could be read in accordance with whichever reading one wished to follow from among the very readings cited. Thus, most of the readings merged into this script, and the readings that could not merge into the script were saved by him when he elected to have one copy written according to one reading and another in accordance with another reading. The community demonstrated such care and diligence in having the fondly remembered readings collected in these copies that Qirra developed into a branch of knowledge in its own right, and there rose hundreds of scholars, reciters, and memorizers of the Holy Quran who spent their entire spans of life to keep it preserved and protected. What actually happened was that when Sayyidina Usman anhu sent the 7 copies of the Noble Quran to various areas, he had also sent particular reciters who could teach how to recite them. So when these expert reciters reached their designated areas, they taught people to read the Quran in accordance with their respective readings. These different readings spread out among people. At this stage, some people bequeathed their lives to memorize different readings and in training others to continue the discipline. This is how the foundation of the science of readings was laid, and people from different parts of the Islamic world started turning to the masters of the discipline to achieve the highest of excellence in it. Some memorized only one reading, others did 2 or 3 or 7 or even more than that. In this connection, a standard rule was accepted as norm throughout the Ummah, and it was invariably followed everywhere. It stipulated that only such reading, Qirra, will be accepted as being the Quran which fulfills 3 conditions. Number 1, there is room for it in the script of Usmani copies of the Quran. Number 2, it conforms to the grammar of the Arabic language. Number 3, it should have provenly, with sound authority, originated from the Holy Prophet ﷺ and be well known among the masters of readings, that is, the Imams of Qirra. A reading which lacks even one of these 3 requirements cannot be considered as part of the Quran. Thus, a large number of readings continued to be reported in uninterrupted succession. Then, as a matter of convenience, It so happened that an Imam started giving instructions in one or some selected readings, and that particular reading became identified with his name. Then scholars started writing books to collect those readings. So Imam Abu Ubaid Qasim ibn Salam, Imam Abu Hatim, Qadi Ismail, and Imam Abu Jafar al-Tabari were the first among those who compiled books in this field, which included more than 20 readings. Then came the great scholar Abu Bakr ibn Mujahid, who died in 324 Hijri, who wrote a book in which he had included readings from 7 qaris only. This book of his became so popular that these readings from the 7 qaris became much more famous as compared with those of other qaris. In fact, some people got used to thinking that these are the only sound readings coming in uninterrupted succession. Although the truth of the matter is that Allama ibn Mujahid has collected these 7 readings in one place just by chance. He never meant that readings other than these were wrong or unacceptable. This act of Allama ibn Mujahid created yet another misunderstanding when some people began to think that 7 versions means just these 7 readings which have been collected by Ibn Mujahid. Although it has been explained earlier that these 7 readings are simply a part of sound readings. Otherwise, every reading that fulfills the above mentioned 3 conditions perfectly is sound, acceptable, and included within the 7 versions, huruf, in which the Noble Quran